All right, good morning, Algebra 1. Let's get going with these equations. A health food store mixes raisins that cost $2 per pound and granola that cost them $4 per pound together to make 25 pounds of raisin granola. How many pounds of raisin and granola should they include if they want the mixture to cost them a total of $80? So let's first of all find the things that look like math. I see $2. I also see the word per. That's very, very important. Remember, each, every, and per mean to multiply. So I'm gonna erase that because I kind of covered that up a little bit. So per, I see $4 per pound together to make 25 pounds. That looks like math. And 80 also looks like math. Now, what are the two things that we're talking about? Okay, so this is kind of tricky. We're mixing raisins, that's an R, and granola, that'll be a G. Okay, now find the totals. The totals are 25 and 80, so we're going to put those after an equal sign. So equals 25 and equals 80. And this was $80 and 25 pounds. Okay. Now let's go back up and kind of read this and put some stuff in. I'm pretty certain that I'm going to need a R and a G in both of these equations. Okay. Now it says that the raisins cost them $2 per pound. So $2, where is that $2 going to go? On the top or the bottom? Well, it's going to go on the bottom because that's where the dollars are, $2 and $80. So raisins are $2 per pound. And the granola is $4 per pound. And that's going to give us the $80 total. And then on the top, the pounds of raisins plus the pounds of granola have to equal $25. Okay, very good. Now let's go ahead and solve this. In order to solve this, we're going to have to multiply the top by the bottom and the bottom by the top. Okay, so multiplying the top by the bottom, that's going to be 2R plus 2G equals 50. And on the bottom, 2 times 1 is going to be 2R plus 4G equals 80. Okay, that's great. Now, the good news about this is we have the R's are the same. They're both 2, so that means they're going to cancel out. But the bad news is they're both positive, so we need to change the sign so that they equal 0. So I'm going to change them. I'm going to change them on the top. Negative 2R. This is going to become a negative 2G, and this is going to become a negative 50. And now let's go ahead and solve this. Now, the R's are both 2's. They're opposite. That's awesome. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. The G's, negative 2G plus 4G. That's going to be positive 2G. And then negative 50 plus 80. That's going to be positive 30. Next step, divide by 2. And we're going to get G equals 15. So we had 15 pounds of granola. Now, I'm going to go back and choose any one of these equations that I have. That seems easy. That's the one that I like right there. R plus G equals 50. Okay, we already know that G equals 15. Let's put 15 in there. So subtract the 15 over, and we're going to get R equals 35. So 15 pounds of granola and 35 pounds of raisins. All right, let's move on. Betty needs to purchase some tables for her new restaurant. She'll buy a combination of square tables and round tables. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Those are the two things we're talking about. Those are our variables, S and R. For a total of 15 tables, 15 looks like math, that's going to be important. She wants to provide seating for 96 customers, that looks important. Each square table seats 4 people, and each round table seats 8 people. How many of each type of table should she buy? Okay, so let's look at this. First of all, we're doing square tables and round tables. I see a total. I see a total in there. Equals 15. 15 tables is a total. And also 96 is a total, the total number of people. So 15 tables, 96 customers, okay? All right, so I'm pretty certain that somehow we're going to need R plus S. Actually, maybe I'm going to switch that around, S plus R. Okay, now we've used pretty much everything except we need each square table seats 4 people and each round table seats 8. Remember the words each, every, and per mean to multiply. So I'm going to have to multiply these. 4 times a square table. Now, 4 people, where is that going to go? Is that going to go on the top or the bottom? Well, it's going to go on the bottom because 96 is talking about customers or people. So 4 people at a square table and 8 people at a round table, and that's what we've got. I think I'm gonna squeeze this over here just a little bit more, just so it's written better. Equals 96. Okay, we're ready to solve this. Now, the first thing I see is that none of the variables have the same number, the same coefficient. So we're going to have to multiply. Multiply the top by the bottom and the bottom by the top. Okay, so let's see what this gives us. On the top, that's going to be a 4s plus a 4r equals 60. On the bottom, we've got a 4s plus 8r equals 96. Okay, so that's great. Now the s's have the same number in front of them, but the bad news is they're both positive. So we need to change the signs on either the top or the bottom. Doesn't matter, you can't be wrong. I'm going to change them on the top again. Make this a minus 4s, make this a minus 4r, and make this a minus 60. Okay, now let's add these together. Now the s's are both 4's, and one's positive, one's negative. So that's going to be a 0. It's just eliminated. Negative 4r plus 8r is going to be 4r. And negative 60 plus 96 is going to be 36. Divide the 4, we're going to get r equals 9. Now I can, so that's going to be 9 round tables. I'll just scoot that over there now. I can come back and I can choose any one of these equations that I think looks easy. I think this equation right here looks the easiest. So I'm going to write it. S plus r equals 15. And r equals 9. So we've got s plus 9 equals 15. Next step, subtract the 9. And we're going to get s equals 6. So we've got 6 square tables and 9 round tables. Let's look at number 3. Sam is older than Jerry. The difference of their ages is 12. 12 looks important, and also difference looks important because difference means minus, right? The sum, that looks important, of their ages is 56. How old is each one? Well, we're talking, what are we talking about? We're talking about Sam and Jerry. Okay, so S and J. What are the totals? Now, this one may be a little bit harder to see, but the totals here are actually the only 2 numbers that we see in there, 12 and 56. So I'm going to put those after equal signs. Okay. Let's see, the difference of their ages. Difference means minus is 12. The difference is 12, and remember, is means equals, so that's great. It fits in there real good. The difference of their ages. The difference of whose ages? Well, Sam and Jerry. So this just means S minus J equals 12. And the sum of their ages, well, sum means plus. So if I add their ages together, we're going to get 56. Okay, let's solve this. Now let's talk about what we could do. The s's are the same. That's awesome. They're both 1s, but they're both positive. So if we wanted to, we could change the signs in these and eliminate the s's. But here's what I see. The j's are also the same, and one is already positive and one's already negative. So those will be 0 and they'll cancel. So let's just do this. What's 1s plus 1s? that's going to be 2s. Negative 1j plus 1j, that's going to be our 0, which is the key. And 12 plus 56 is going to be 68. Next step, divide the 2. And we're going to get s equals 34. So Sam's age is 34. Come back and choose either one of these two equations, whichever one looks easiest. I like the bottom. S plus j equals 56. S plus j equals 56. S is 34. We knew that from down there. We already figured that out, so sub that in. 34 plus j equals 56. And then we got to solve this for j, so just subtract the 34. We're going to get j equals 22. Sam's age is 34. Jerry's age is 22. Okay, number 4. The Booster Club sold 65 tickets to its annual show. If the adult tickets, oh, you know what? I should have circled this right away. 65 tickets. If the adult tickets were $3.75 each and the student tickets were $3.25 each, and remember, each means to multiply, so that's important. How many adult tickets were sold if they brought in $234.75? Okay, the only other thing that I missed in there was the variables. And the two things we're talking about here are adult tickets and student tickets. Okay, so let's start putting this together. What were the totals in here? Well, it said that they sold a total of 65 tickets, and altogether the total that they brought in was $234.75. Okay, I'm going to call the adult tickets A and the student tickets S. So it's probably going to be something like this. Okay, so we've used the 65 and the $234.75. What we've got to get in here is the price of those tickets, $3.75 for an adult, for each adult. So that's going to be 3.75 times A. And I knew it went on the bottom because that's where it's talking about dollars. And each student ticket was $3.25. 3.25s. Okay. Well, that's that right there is going to be hard to read. Let me see if I can really make my S's and my 5's different. Not having much success there, but hopefully you'll see this. Okay, so now the bad news is none of those have the same numbers. So we're going to have to multiply. And let's multiply the top by the bottom and the bottom by the top. So multiply the top by $3.75 and the bottom by 1. So on the top, when I multiply that by 375, that's going to be 375A plus 375S equals, I'm going to need my calculator for this, 65 times 375 is $243.75. On the bottom, when I multiply by 1, it's just going to stay the same. 3.75A plus 3.25S equals $234.75. Okay. Now this looks intimidating, but it's not going to be that bad. The good news is that the A's are the same numbers, but the bad news is they're the same signs. So we're going to have to change the signs. Let's change them on the bottom this time. Negative 375A. This is going to be a negative 325S, and this is going to be a negative $234.75. Okay. 375A minus 375A is 0. It just cancels. 375S minus 325S, that's going to be 0.50S. And then over here, subtracting that, the 75s are going to cancel. It looks like this is just going to be an even $9. divide by 0.50, and S is going to be equal to 18. So we sold 18 student tickets. Okay, now let's look at the A's. If I sub that in, I'm gonna come back. I need to pick either one of these equations. The one I like better is that one. A plus S equals 65. And I'm going to put 18 in for S because I know that's how many students we had. So subtract 18. I'm going to get A equals 47. So 47 adult tickets and 18 student tickets. All right. Let's look at this one, number 5. A farmer grows only corn. That's going to be one of our variables, and wheat. That's going to be another variable on his 150-acre farm. That looks like math. This year he wants to plant 72 more acres of corn than wheat. How many acres does the farmer need to plant of each crop? Okay. As long as I've been teaching this problem, I've been struggling to find an easy way to explain this. All right, but let me take a shot at this. We've got our variables. I see totals. The total is going to be 150 acres. So we're going to plant 150 acres on the farm. And this year he wants to plant 72 more acres of corn than wheat. So let's just put 72 over here like this. Okay, so we need corn and wheat. Corn and wheat. Okay. So let's look up at the top and see if this is an equation we like. If you add corn and wheat together, is that going to give you 150? Yeah, if you add the acres of corn plus the acres of wheat, you're going to fill up your whole farm, and that's going to be 150. So that equation I like. But I can't have that same equation on the bottom, otherwise this just isn't going to work, because C plus W, corn plus wheat, is 150, not 72. So what are we going to do in the second one? Well, let's think about it like this. I know that corn is bigger than wheat, right? And how much bigger is corn than wheat? 72. He wants it to be 72 bigger than wheat this year. So if I take my corn and I subtract my wheat, I should have 72 left. If corn is 72 bigger than wheat, if I subtract that, I should have 72 left. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to subtract that, and I'll have 72 left. Now here's the beauty. This is ready to solve because the W's are both 1s, and one is a positive and one is a negative. So I don't have to change signs. I don't need to multiply. I don't need to do anything. C plus C is going to be 2C. Positive W minus W is 0. And a positive 150 and a positive 72 is going to be 222. Next step, divide the 2 over, and we're going to get C equals 111. Okay, 111. Now, come back and choose whichever one of these looks better to you. I think the top one looks better to me, so that's what I'm going to do. C plus W equals 150, and I know C equals 111 plus W equals 150. Next step, subtract the 111 over. W equals 39. So acres of corn was 111. Acres of wheat was 39. Okay, I'm going to sign out for this video. I'm going to make another one for the back side of this worksheet. All right, good luck.